And
where did the first like film festival come around? Like how did that kind of happen?
there was something back home that was kind of like a festival, and they would show like short films and stuff.
Hmm.
But then I just kind of went to films around here in the States, and I'm like, man, this seems pretty cool. This seems all right. And the way I got involved in this festival was I had made a short film, um, which was actually like quite terrible. Now that I watch it, it's funny. Um,
Yeah, but if you enjoyed yourself while you were making it, that's kind of that's
right.
half the point on that.
Yeah, that's a very good point. So I had made the film, it was mediocre, and I actually had met Craig. So my senior year of college, me and my best friend, who's also a filmmaker, um, we decided is like, hey man, let's make films our senior year because we were kind of like coasting our senior year. Um, and so he went out and made a movie, I made a movie, and then the guy that was our DP, our director of photography, he ended up making a movie. He's like, well, let's make a movie too, because he's a
Yeah.
year older than us. Like so we all went to school, and then our friend Claire made a movie, and then there was a high school student in the community that made a movie. He's like, let's make a film festival. Why not? So we did like a one night showing before graduation of a film festival. And I remember I met Craig that night because Jim lives in here in Forest City, and he brought Craig over, and he introduced me to Craig that night. And he's like, "Hey, this is the president of the Iowa Independent Film Festival." I'm like, "Oh, it's very nice to meet you." Um, but I didn't really expect much because then, like a month later, I moved to California, and then years later, I moved back to Iowa. But I made this film, and Jim liked it. He's like, "Hey, I wanna, can I show it to a couple guys?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And it was Craig and Terry, Craig Benabus and Terry Harrison.
Hmm.
And they came over, and I walked them around where I work, um, as a professor with our studios. I'm like, "Oh, okay, cool." And we watched the movies. Like, "Hey, man, that's pretty good. Do you want to put it in our festival?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" And and then we went and had dinner, and then we got to know each other and have dinner a few more times, and then
Hmm.
um, you know, Jim's like, "Hey, why don't you come to a meeting with me? A board meeting." I'm like, um, like, is that allowed? I don't know.
Right.
And I'm like, I thought it was kind of weird for me. I'm like, I don't know. What am I supposed to do? Just sit there and be like, yeah, that sounds cool. And little did I know, like that he invited me because they wanted me to join. Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I joined the meeting, and I'm like, oh, this seems pretty cool. And I had been to their festival once or twice before, and I knew like I kind of wanted to get involved and into like the Iowa film scene. And I thought, well, this might be kind of cool. This might be fun. One way to kind of give back to the community and do something. And ever since then, I haven't left. And then eventually I moved my way up to vice president, and then now
Hmm.
president. And um, it's been a really fun ride.
What have been the biggest lessons that you've learned over this time?
Oh man, that is a great question. Um, I mean, the biggest lesson is you can't do everything. Um,
Mm.
you
Ain't
can't
that the
do every-
truth?
you can't do everything. Um, as much as you want to sometimes, you really need to
Yeah.
lean on your team. And I lean on my team quite often. And they lean on me, then they lean on each other. Um, I mean, shoot, I was on the phone with a board member earlier today, and hey, how's this going? Okay, cool, great. Can you check in on this person, see how they're doing, make sure they're doing okay, and yada yada yada.
Yeah.
That's probably been the biggest lesson is that you can't do everything, and that it
Yeah.
really takes a team. And if anything, it's like making a movie. It takes a village to make a movie. It takes a village to put
Hmm.
on a festival. And you need to put some trust in your team that they're gonna do their job, and if they need something, they're gonna reach out. Um,
How do you think that the Iowa, Independent Film Festival, I mean, I know you mentioned that, you're proud that it contributes to the community and whatnot, but I'm kind of curious, outside of like food trucks and things like that, like what do you think its contribution is to just the Iowa film scene, if you will, as a whole?
so as a whole, to the Iowa film scene, I mean, we're another venue for our
Yeah.
Iowa filmmakers and beyond. It's not just a place just for Iowa filmmakers. You know, all the films in our festivals are not just Iowa. I mean, we have a category for our Iowa filmmakers that they can, you know, submit to if they so choose. And sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. It's all a
Hmm.
personal choice. But we're another venue within the state of Iowa that wants your work, you know, because most of us on the board are filmmakers or actors or were in some capacity at some point in our lives. You know, some of our board members are retired now.
Hmm.
You know, and some of us are very much still active in the workforce, let alone the Iowa film scene. So for us, we see it as another location and venue for our Iowa, our fellow friends and family throughout the state that
Yeah.
make work. You know, we always hope that they consider us, and we know sometimes they don't, and it's like that's okay, you know.
Hmm.
You know, but we're another place for you to submit and hopefully get accepted and have a venue for you to in an audience.
I think specifically for like just broadly speaking would say the creative community, it's important to have, you know, outlets like that, but not only that, but just a place where you can know that you'll be in good company with people that, you know, won't, you know, judge you for being, you know, eccentric or kind of kooky or whatever it is. Because sometimes, you know, creatives kind of they get labels on them sometimes, you know, they're not
Mhm.
like always everybody else. That's kind of what sets them apart from the rest. You know, I know as a creative myself in a lot of different ways, when I was younger, I never even thought to like even think that here in Iowa, that there would be opportunities afforded to people where they could actually further either a technical craft, whether it be the camera or production design or whatever, or doing something seriously on the stage and just kind of that, just having to be taken seriously. I unfortunately, I think was among many in Iowa where I, like many, am like, oh, this is just a flyover state. You know, all the movie magic
Right.
and stuff like that. It happens in, you know, LA, it happens in New York, and, you know, this is just kind of, you know, a bunch of farmers with pitchforks. So it's like, it's
Right. Yeah. I mean,
not
there's
obvious.
some, you
I mean,
know.
it's there for sure, but I think Iowa's just changed a lot over the years, and the more I've kind of made proactive efforts in my own way, to reach out and try to see if there is an audience out here, and the answer is there is, and those people need a place like this. They need opportunities like this to be able to showcase their talents, because otherwise, you know, if you don't have an audience when you're doing this stuff, you kind of feel like you're going mad. I,
Oh yeah,
I
totally.
don't know how else to say it. It's like
You're not
you feel
wrong.
like you're going crazy.
I mean, you're not wrong. I mean, early in my film career, you know, I made films. I was very proud of it. I'm like, hell yeah, this is awesome. And then you submit it and nothing.
Yeah,
You know, I remember there was one film I made and it didn't get accepted into a single film festival. Um,
that probably hurt.
oh yeah, it very much hurt, and I was going crazy.
Yeah,
Like you were saying, I was going absolutely insane because it's like I want to be part of that, you
yeah,
know? Um, and if anything, like I laugh at it now and I'm like super thankful for that happening, even though like it totally sucked at the time, is because it kind of gave me that fire and that drive. It's like, you know what, fine. I will show you that I can do this.
hmm,
You know, and you're not wrong when as artists we want to express ourselves and you know we want that audience, we want that crowd to see our work, whether it's film,
yeah,
photography, painting. It's, you know, we're artists, we want to share it with the world, we don't want to just keep it to ourselves. There's no way as an artist you want to keep it inside, you want it out there in
yeah.
the world, you
And I
know.
feel like a lot of people want their works to have greater resonance beyond, I think, just themselves. You know, I again, I can just only speak for my own experience and whatnot, but to me, the filmmakers that I've talked to in the limited time, I guess you could say I've been doing this. I've been doing this for about 3 years now. Um, I just think that there's a great sense from a lot of them that they want to be a part of something bigger than themselves. You
Oh yeah.
know, they don't want their stuff to be siloed off and whatnot. And like even if it just means that they're like a piece of like a much grander puzzle, but if that puzzle leads to joy and happiness and conversation about you know whether it be important issues or just people laughing their ass off at a comedy, like it brings people together in ways that I I have yet to see any other form of media, art, or even community gatherings be able to do. Nothing really quite does it to me like movies do.
Oh yeah, 100%. I think about some of the film festivals I've been to, whether I'm a participant or just going. Um, and you see people that you know that maybe you didn't expect to be there, or we're going to be there, and it's like, oh, I want to. Hey, what time is your movie? I want to make sure I'm
Yeah.
there. Or what time is your script reading? I want to make sure I'm there. And most of the time, you're not the only person asking that person what time is they're showing,
Hmm.
because they want to go and support you. They want to see your work. And it's always fun to see that group of people getting together to meet up, to go watch the movie, or hey, let's go talk about what you did at the after party, or you just see them in the lobby and they're just having the
Hmm.
time of their life. You're right. I can't think of doing that at like a photography exhibit that I've been to. I can't think of
Hmm.
a painting. Not that it doesn't happen, but not to this level, you know.
Yeah.
Um, it's a joy to be part of the Iowa film scene and be part of the Iowa Film Festival list.
And I think for the people listening, just what he just said, Iowa Film Festival scene, and there being a list. There's not just one festival, there's multiple. I just feel like it's important to stress that, because I know for a fact that there's people that are listening and that there's others that are out there that don't realize what's here in the state. They
hmm
don't. And,
Yeah.
and I don't blame them. I mean, it's hard. I mean, I got connected with this stuff because I am a very passionate person about movies. Seriously, so I look to further my own craft and my own creative medium, being podcasting and content creation. It dabbles in the filmmaking world. I'm a graphic design background, just like yourself. So myself, it's like I was already predisposed, so to speak, to find and eventually seek this stuff out. And I just know there's a lot more out there that want to. They just either feel like it's just, too hard to find the information, or it's intimidating to, go to it alone and not know anybody. And it's like, I'm just here to tell people this festival, and I can promise you, even the other ones I haven't been to here in the state, they're not like that. They are a welcoming atmosphere. You don't have to be intimidated. There are people that are like you, and they will want to help you. And if nothing else, like just make friends with you. Just have a good time. I mean, it's just nice to be
Oh,
able to
yeah.
have long form discussions about movies with, somebody that actually can sometimes handle it, so to speak. I meet people that like movies, and it's like, well, you like movies, or do you like movies? Like how
Right.
how how
There's
how
a
much can you really
yeah,
talk about it?
there's a difference. Yeah. No, for sure. I mean, there is indeed a list of film festivals. If you
Yeah,
go to
it's
Produce
multiple.
Iowa, I mean, they have a whole list of what the festival is and where it's located.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, you're right. We're there for you.
Yep.
And the big thing that you may not realize if you're listening is, we've all been there, you know. Especially like if you're into film and you're just starting out, we've all been there where you're eager, but you have no idea. You want to go, but you don't want to go because you don't know
Hmm.
anyone. You're kind of scared. You're kind of shy. Even if like you're super outgoing,
Yeah.
you still don't know. It's like, well, what's it going to be like? Are these people going to be cool? I don't know. Are they
Oh,
going to judge me?
I
No.
always tell people, Charlie, like, just people I meet, like, I'm not the type that like gives out advice that often, but if I have any piece of advice that I sometimes impart, it is this. If anybody out there is ever looking for a boost in your confidence, and you want to help your own image, go to an event where you don't know anybody by yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to just be a film festival. Like it could be like a conference, it can be a workshop, it can just be like a coffee shop or whatever. Um, it says a lot about how comfortable you are kind of in your own skin if you can do that. And then if you're successful at it even just once, it gets addictive. And then you're like,
Does.
oh, I can do this more. I don't
Yeah.
have to be so afraid of this stuff.
Yeah.
And
And it gets
then,
easier.
yeah, and that's
It
exactly
gets
that.
easier.
Yeah.
And like, like I was saying, like we were all there. The kind of adding to that advice, the biggest thing is show up. That's all you got to do. Okay.
Yeah.
Um, I remember I went to a festival once, didn't know anyone. no clue. And I'm like, that they've told me this place is pretty cool. Um, and I got at a film screening and I didn't know what to do because I'm like, well, I've got time in between the next film block, and I just kind of stood there because
Yeah.
I didn't know what to do. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm kind of a first timer here. This was years ago, so I kind
Hmm.
of got on my phone and I saw the filmmaker there that who just did his talk, and we kind of made like locked eyes, and he just came over and he's like, hey, I'm so and so,
Yeah.
and he's a friend now. Just
Hmm.
show up because all of us have been there. Most of us will recognize, oh, okay, hold on. Let me come talk to you. Let me come help you. Let me feel comfortable.
Yeah.
You want to come hang out with us? Come on. You know? All this
Creatives can kind of
reason.
be creatives sometimes embody that kind of outsider mentality sometimes, because not all of them are extremely extroverted, are comfortable on the camera. Like there's some that like they really care about the art, but they're not the people person on that.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
I get it. It's super intimidating, but I just always try to promote that message anytime I talk about festivals, because I really want people to feel more inclusive and comfortable in these things. And you don't have to be so intimidated by it. I mean, like we're here for each other. Like this is a community. Like you said, you meet people at one, chances are they're going to be at other festivals, and then you meet more through them, and then you start seeing that there's this community that almost travels like a road show. They just go around to these things.
Oh
But
yeah.
it's fun. It's great fun.
It is a lot of fun. I mean, shoot. I think one year I went to like 4 different festivals, and it was like literally
That's
like
good.
a group of us like going from one to the next, and it was like, where are we going next week? Where you going to that one? Oh yeah, okay, I'll go. So I mean, you're gonna meet the coolest people there.
So I got one more question I want to ask you, and then I got a couple. I would call it like rapid fire questions, and then I'll start to wind
Ooh,
this down here. I,
okay.
I, I prepared some fun ones. I tried
Ooh,
to
all right, let's do
tried
this.
to. Um, I wanted to throw out as well and just kind of get your take on this too, because we've talked about community a couple of times throughout the episode. But I want to tell the people that are listening that when you attend these things, aside from the networking, being around a tight community, and getting to see some really interesting work from either experienced filmmakers or first time, I always try to also say that it's a way to support the greater community as a whole. Because, like you said, there are sponsors that help to raise and sponsor money for the festival itself. You mentioned that there can be food trucks there and other local vendors and whatnot. So, know that when you go to these festivals, you're not just supporting, people that care about making movies in Iowa, but you're also throwing money. I would hope money, because I always say to vote with your wallet when it comes to stuff, because that's
Oh,
that's where people that run the numbers will see. They look at the numbers, they're like, what's profitable, what's not. What you decide to spend money on speaks volumes. So I'm just curious yourself, Charlie. I mean, like, would you have anything to say about the greater community impact that does have, and it being able to give money to things like that?
yeah. So, film festivals certainly have an economic impact um, in said community that that film festival is at.
Hmm.
Um, and what I mean by that is, if you go to a film festival, chances are you're going to get hungry, so you need to go find some food. And there's a very high chance that, especially if you've never been to that community, um,
Which I have not been to the Mason City Clear
yeah.
Lake
So
area.
like
Just
you
to
have,
clarify, it'll be the first time when I go.
so like I'm gonna go tell you, hey, if you like pizza, go check out XYZ because they're friends of the festival, or hey, they are literally like 2 doors down from
Yeah.
one of our venues. And now you're spending money on a local
Hmm.
entity that that
Exactly.
in long term goes back into the community somehow. Um,
Hmm.
you might need a hotel room, and that's going to go back into the community. You might do a little shopping while you're there. Goes back into the community. So a lot of the time,
Yeah.
film festivals are also an opportunity for these local businesses to get out there, whether they're sponsoring part of it or they're
Hmm.
just um, in one particular spot. Like I think of like I'm gonna pick on Snake Alley Festival of Film down in Burlington.
Hmm.
Um, there is a particular coffee shop that I always go to because it's like literally kitty corner to the theater. and they also have really good coffee, and even better, like it's kind of like a dog themed coffee shop. So they have like
All
stuff you
right.
can get for your dog. And if you know me, like I'm a huge dog person. Like,
Well, what's your favorite dog?
uh, oh gosh, my favorite dog is probably my current dog because she's adorable.
Okay.
She's amazing.
Yeah, that's
A
fair.
she is a golden retriever Australian Shepherd mix.
I
Um,
mean, that sounds like a good potent mix. I'm terrible. Like when someone says like, "Oh, it's like five breeds blended into one," I'm like, I don't know what that looks like.
pick one, yeah.
Yeah,
Pick one or two, and there you go. Um, yeah, no, I mean she's
that's
amazing. Like
awesome.
I'm that kind of dog person that like when I was in college, I actually told like I think my mom about this recently, that there was a college house party I'd go to, and most of the time I'd go, get a drink or whatever, but people would be like, "Oh, where's he at?" And I'd be in the
Mm.
corner of the living room playing with the dog that lived there, not hanging out with the people that I went to school with. I'm like, I'll see you in class, man. I want to play with Roscoe over here. I want to play with the dog, you know?
It's like I'm around
So,
people. I'm around people all day. Like, let me spend some time with the animals.
right, right. So, yeah, I think about that place every time I go to Burlington. And I only know of that place because when I went to the festival, I walked around like, well, it's 8 in
Yeah,
the morning. I want a cup of coffee, and
yeah,
it's not a franchise. It's a local place.
yeah,
So when you go to these festivals, you're good. Most of the time, you're going to end up supporting
yeah.
a local business of some sort, whether it's getting a cup of coffee from a local coffee shop, and a scone, and I'm hungry
Mm-hmm.
for some lunch. I'm gonna stop at this pizza place that's got fire pizza, the
Mm-hmm.
fire, and
Yep.
oh, I the local ice cream shop, and so there in hotels, there's always some sort of economic value that
Yeah.
goes back into the community, which is awesome, which
Yeah.
is a really big thing for us.
I think it's a big deal for just about any community because I'm sure you're probably like myself where you almost get tired of seeing yet another Starbucks get constructed
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
things like that. You're like, "Gee, oh Jesus, like there's
right,
some other poor schmuck's gonna spend $9 on a cup of sugar known as coffee."
right,
but but I just think it does speak a lot to the value that I think a festival does bring to the area. It's not just about the film nerds that get together and watch all their movies and the filmmakers that get to screen them and be amongst their peers. I mean, yes, that's there, but let's not forget about what it does bring the community. Because I just personally speaking, I'm a person that does like to shop local. I would say I'm a minimalist in a lot of extents. So like I don't collect like a lot of clutter, but if I'm at an event like yours and I'm taking part in it and doing it, I got no problem dropping money at a place like
Mhm.
that because I know it's not going to the Starbucks that doesn't frankly need my money. Like
Right,
they don't.
yeah,
It's going to people that have worked really hard to support themselves and you know Mason City, Clear Lake, it's not like I would imagine. It's probably not like New York where they have like people people
right.
wandering around all the time, like they count on events like this. It
Oh
helps.
yeah, yeah, totally. I mean, and I mean, we even have some of our sponsors that, um, they put an ad in our program, and if you show up, you can get a deal. If you show up with your festival pass, you can get a deal on whatever it is.
Speaking of deals, I think there you mentioned to me before we recorded and when we were first connecting, you said there's a promo code for people if they are interested in the festival, at least through I think the end of August is what you said.
Yeah, so the end of August, so it's going to end August 31st.
Yep.
You can get, oh gosh, what is it? 15% off of any ticket type, whether it's a full weekend pass or a day pass.
Mm-hmm.
You can get 15% off. And in the checkout, when you're ready to check out, you put the discount code IIFF 2023 AUG AUG 15, and it will give you 15% off your tickets. So, and this is only valid, at least the 15% off is only valid online until July
Well,
31st
August 31st.
or August
Yeah,
31st.
yeah, I got
I
you.
keep like
No, I got you.
this festival year has been weird. Like there's been times I've been making like graphics and I don't know why, but in my head I keep putting
Hmm.
August 8th and 9th. And then I'm like, wait, no, it's September, guy. What are you doing?
It's
So
because you're
yeah,
bouncing between all the things. It's,
oh,
it's
I
sometimes
know.
difficult to keep track of it. It's all
It
good.
really is.
I
Yeah.
will put that promo code in the description of this episode, and obviously it'll be up, well before the end of August, because it's not really fair if I'm like, you have 24 hours. Like, hurry,
Right. Right.
hurry up.
Right. Yeah. So yeah,
um,
that
and you
closes
said
August 31st.
that if I'm not mistaken, we didn't say it yet in the episode, but correct me if I'm wrong. The full weekend, $30, a day
Yep.
pass, $20. And then
Correct.
this code would be 15% off of either of those, right?
Yep. Online only.
I mean, that sounds like a pretty sweet deal to me. So,
Yeah, I mean, and even more so if you get your full weekend pass tickets, which are $30, um, you know, you're gonna get to watch you have the ability to watch 61 movies, 30 movies, something like that. And they're all from 2 minutes long to some close to 2 hours. Um, and if you purchase a full weekend pass, you're gonna get a food voucher for a free meal from our food truck that will be after our awards ceremony on Saturday night, right outside of Mason City Brewing, which is going to be right outside the after party. So you'll be able to
yeah.
walk right over, right up the block, get some food, head in for a beer, and have a good night of hanging out with people.
I'm
Um,
really excited just from my own end here. I just getting to know the area. I mean, I'm really excited to check it out because I mean I've been an Iowa native most of my life, but I'd never been up that way. Never
yeah,
have.
it's a cool spot. I mean, Clear Lake is a resort town, so there's big giant lake.
Yeah.
And we also have the surfing in the surf ballroom, I think is what it's technically called in Clear Lake.
Uh-huh.
And if you know anything about history, that's where Buddy Holly, the Big Bopper, and Richie Valens had their last concert before their plane crashed. Um,
No shit, really? Okay. I
yeah,
didn't know that. I
yeah.
didn't know that.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
you could actually go to it. And they have like a museum, and they took the like the payphone that they used to make their last call, and they like took
Oh
it off the
God.
wall. They actually have it in a display case,
It's
and they have
eerie.
other stuff from those guys. And in Clear Lake, you can actually go to the crash site, where the crash happened. And
Yeah.
it's kind of cool because what they did was they got these like concrete pillars, and on them are like big black um glasses that like Buddy Holly used to wear, and it's the exact
Wow.
site where they unfortunately lost their lives in the plane crash. But we have
God.
that in the surf, and it's actually kind of like a big highlight this year. Is
Mm-hmm.
we actually have a film, not to like highlight any film, but this one in particular,
Mm-hmm.
that deals very much with our area in Clear Lake. Is that it's a movie called Bopper and Me. It was actually created by a gentleman out of England, and he's actually coming, I believe, bringing some family members of
Wow.
the Big
It's awesome.
Bopper. But his goal is to get the Big Bopper into the Music Hall of Fame. And a lot of it was shot in and around the Mason City and Clear Lake area. And the whole surf ballroom is kind of a big thing in the community of Clear Lake, that every year they have the winter dance party and kind of redoing that night. So that's
Wow.
definitely a big thing to go and check out, is the Surf Ballroom. It's an amazing, historic, beautiful place. And our downtowns in both Mason City and Clear Lake have excellent food options and drink options and shopping if you're interested. And they're all local. We don't necessarily like have a franchise pizza shop in downtown.
No,
It's
but I wouldn't want there to be. No, I wouldn't
Yeah,
want
I
there
mean, yeah,
to
don't go to the
be.
they're gonna be fine. Go to the local.
You got a favorite kind of pizza?
Oh man.
I mean, all pizza's good pizza. I mean, I'm sure
I
you've
love
heard that,
so
but
here's the thing. I love pizza. If I could
yeah,
eat two foods for the rest of my life and it like had no effect on like my body,
yeah,
like getting high cholesterol or anything, it would be pizza and street tacos. Um,
yeah, those are good.
but pizza, yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It's tough.
It is tough because like I could always go up for a deep dish, but then if you just give me like a big old New
Mm,
York style slice, I'm still happy.
yeah,
But like wood fire is also really amazing. So I don't know, man. Like Pizza's pizza is the way I see it. You know, that's why I'd be like best friends with the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. You know, because they're always into pizza.
Did you ever have a favorite turtle?
I didn't actually.
No?
No, I kind of didn't. I just
I always like the one
kind
that
of
liked
loved them all.
pizza. That's the orange banded one. I sound like a jackass because I should know his name. I know Raphael's like the fighting one, and there's like
Yeah,
Donatello, and I can't remember the
Michelangelo, Raphael. Yeah, yeah.
good lord.
Great.
Obviously not a devout turtle fan. I could go see the new movie, but
Oh, that's
um let me ask you some fun questions here. But
all right.
we'll end this stuff on a fun note here. I tried to come up with some squirrely ones for you.
All right.
So if the Iowa Independent Film Festival, if they had a theme song, right? What would the theme song or a song that would sort of encapsulate the vibe and the overall essence of the Iowa Independent Film Festival? What would that be?
Oh God.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Holy cow. Gosh, I feel like I need to open up my Spotify.
I do that all the time because like I'm always like flipping around and listening to different stuff. I'm a music head in a lot of ways as well, but definitely more movies.
Okay. Okay. If there was a theme song
Yeah.
for the festival.
I mean, I know you guys put up a trailer. I don't think that had a theme. Well, maybe it had a theme song in it, but
Right. Yeah,
could
it
go a
had
lot
like
of
just
different
some like
ways.
instrumental music.
Okay.
Um,
Like orchestral, maybe like something composed.
yeah, that's what it was. Okay, so if it was a theme, I don't know. All right, I'm not gonna lie. You know what popped in my head right away
Yeah. Tell
was the
me.
theme song from Cheers. And I don't know why, it just popped in my head. So
I
maybe the
mean,
Cheers
that's a good vibe
song?
though.
I
It's
don't know,
welcoming. It's fun. I
you
like that.
know?
Now, what if the Iowa Independent Film Festival had like a movie genre? Like if it was, again, just kind of the overall vibe for it, would you consider the festival, is it a comedy? Is it a drama? Is it a suspenseful thrill ride? A rom-com? Dramedy, that's always one of my favorite genres, the blending of genres.
Hmm. Let's see here. If I were to give the festival an overall genre,
Yeah.
it would probably be
Like a
kind of a
sitcom.
no, I'd probably say it's more like a dramedy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Where's the drama come from? Just because I mean, I'm sure some of the movies are serious.
Yeah, certainly that, and we do
Yeah.
get quite a bit of comedies too. So it's like kind of between those two, I would
Hmm.
say.
Okay.
Um, yeah, I'd probably say that.
Now, tell me one either funny incident or story or something that the general public would not know that's happened at the Iowa Independent Film Festival. Like some weird behind the scenes story or something where you're just like, I can't believe that went down and we survived it. Like anything like that.
Okay. I promise I'm gonna do better about it this year, but nobody has any idea. And I laugh and stress myself out about it every time I think about it.
Yeah.
But last year, I had some board members that weren't able to be like as heavily involved as normal because of some personal reasons.
Hmm.
Um, so I kind of had to take on a little bit more. Um, and the awards ceremony I produced while the films were being shown. So everyone is at the festival watching the movies, and I'm up in the booth, making sure the movies are playing, and I'm on the other computer, like typing furiously, and editing this and editing that, and adding the
Oh
sound
my
effects. And
God.
I mean, dude, I was freaking out. But it's like I tried to get to it earlier in the week, but there were some more pressing things I had to get done by
Yeah.
those days, and I'm like, I guess I'm doing it during the festival on the last day. So why not put a fire under my ass and say it's gonna be in 12 hours? Get it done.
And you got it done?
Oh yeah, and it was awesome. It's sweet.
And would have anyone have known
Oh,
that you
nobody
were
had
having this freak out battle? Like
no,
no.
nobody had no clue. And then everyone now and then, like a board member would like come up to the booth to, it's like, hey, so and so is here. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. And I'd like collect, like it was like Eric Freezy from the Cedar
Yeah.
Film Festival was there last year.
Uh-huh.
Um, and I came out of the booth and like we're good friends. He's like, hey, dude, how's it going? I'm like, oh, it's going great. We're doing fine. No hitches, nothing bad. And I'm over here like thinking, okay, the next slide I have to do is this one, and then if I put the
Yeah.
sound effect here, and then it'll go off of that, and then the cue is on here, and then our MC, and then yeah, so that's kind of
Jesus.
behind the scenes was like kind of doing it on the fly is like, oh well, thank God I know how to do this.
But
Um,
that's the reason why you're president. That's the very reason why you're president is because no, that's the sign of true leadership is when shit like that goes down or you end up putting yourself in a corner
yeah, you gotta step in.
and no one is none the wiser. They have no idea.
Yep,
But
yep.
and you survive it and then yeah, you definitely learn to laugh at it because in the moment it's probably not funny.
Oh yeah, and the other thing was there was no rehearsal for my slides. It was one of those like
Shit.
it's a good thing I know how to do this because I used to be an AV tech for
Okay.
big hotel system, so I know how to run shows last minute on the fly, and it's like
Yeah.
I walked in there saying it's gonna be fine, and I'm looking at my MCs who were board members. I'm like, just read the script. I'm gonna take care of you. And I'm just thinking in my head, I'm like, hit this cue then. I didn't really have like a script to go off that I nearly did, like I normally do. And it was like, just go. And if there's a hitch, keep going. They're not even going to notice. And no one had any idea that I'm in the back, basically like on fire, if you will, like just trying to make it work, which is just like I laugh at it now. But at the time, I was like, oh my God, I'm ready to throw up.
That's
But it
part of the
worked.
rush. That's part of the rush, though, man. Like
Yeah.
that's part of what keeps you alive. Keeps your blood pumping.
Oh, yeah.
Those crazy times.
Yeah. So, yeah, that yeah, that will not happen again this year. I'm currently working on the awards ceremony as in like I'm thinking about starting it probably
Uh-huh.
tomorrow.
Yeah, but if you can crank out what you just said that you cranked out in what would you say like 12 hours you gave yourself
Yeah,
to
something like that.
just make yeah, you'll be fine. You'll be just
Yeah,
fine.
it'll work out. It's gonna work.
And the thing is I try to tell myself this in a different aspect of my life, but like sometimes like when like we try to strive for perfection on certain things, specifically creative things, to us we notice everything,
Oh yeah, totally.
down to like every, down to the period on something if it's a written thing. But then even after the fact, it's always something where it's like if I could have had more time,
Yeah.
I would have done something else with it. But the point being with this is that who doesn't really notice stuff? The people that are coming. They have
Yep.
no idea.
They
They
have
have no
no idea.
idea. You could actually have something get completely a slop ass mess, but if you carry yourself with conviction and like you have enough confidence with it, they might
Hmm.
just be like, oh, okay, like whatever, like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's fine.
Most
I
of the
like this
time they're
guy.
just like,
It's
oh,
okay.
okay, cool, whatever, and then they move on. It's like, oh, okay, no big deal.
Yeah,
So,
puts a lot of
but
that pressure off yourself.
yeah,
But still, that's always the struggle I find is like you have to push yourself to further your art and to further your talents, which means stretching your mental bandwidth, stretching your technical capabilities, and you can't get that way by playing things too lax. So it's
oh
like
yeah.
there's always a battle that happens there. Last question. If you could have any famous actor, actress, whether they are alive or dead, show up to your festival, who would it be?
Oh man, we've actually kind of discussed this.
Have you?
Yeah, a little bit. Um, I would
It's almost like the question of like if you could sit down and like have a beer with like
right. Someone
anybody that you're
living or
fascinated
dead.
with.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Um, I think we would probably say someone that is from Iowa.
Okay.
Um,
Want the Iowa
for sure.
roots?
So like somebody like Ashton Kutcher. Uh,
Okay. Yeah.
Ashton
He does come to
Kutcher.
mind when you say Iowa a lot.
Yeah, Ashton Kutcher. Um,
I think Elijah Wood's from here.
Elijah Wood. Yeah, Elijah Wood. Ashton Kutcher. Oh gosh, there. What was her name? She passed recently, but she was from Des Moines. She was in Young Frankenstein.
Cloris Leachman?
Yeah, Cloris Leachman.
Yeah.
Yeah, we talked about that. I was like, man, how cool would that be?
That lady was a legend. She was
Oh,
in
she
a
was
lot of
awesome.
things.
She was awesome. So anytime we've kind of talked about like trying to get like a like a big name celebrity, I
Sure.
will say we've always focused on an Iowa tie. Um,
Okay. It probably
but
does help. I mean, for
yeah,
sure.
right.
I think technically, I mean, I might be mistaken, but I want to say like Jason Momoa's like
Yeah,
was
he's like,
born here or like he
yeah, he
was
was
here
like
for a
born
minute.
here,
Like,
grown up here, and then what was that actor? Brandon Roth, the guy that played like
yeah,
that
yeah,
Superman.
Superman.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's crazy because they like went to high school together, and at like one point, their soccer team had Superman and Aquaman on the team. It's like what,
That
you
is kind
know?
of wild. That's
It's
wild to
just
think about.
right. So yeah, that'd be kind of cool too. Um, if
Hmm.
Jason Momoa just walked up and I'm like just go in, dude. Just go in, say hello, and thank you. You know.
I actually, let me voice this for a second because I don't think I've ever like actually expressed this before, but I've always told myself like I highly doubt it would ever happen. But say one day, I don't know, 20 years from now, I become some mega celebrity or something like that.
It's
I
gonna happen.
just I don't know. Well, I
I'm
appreciate the
rooting for you,
support.
Jordan.
But I always like either wonder or kind of don't understand like certain like big celebrities like to me like it would be like the most mind-blowing thing in the world like if you had I mean I don't know say Al Pacino just as a name I just threw out of a hat if he's just like you know what I'm gonna go to this little tiny festival or I'm gonna go talk to this person that doesn't have like 10 million followers or
Right.
something like that and just give them the shot of a lifetime or just give them like the opportunity of a lifetime to just show that we go all the way down to that level. Like I just think it'd be the coolest thing in the world like if more people of celebrity would go out of their way to not always just go to like the big comic cons and things like that like
Right.
go down to some of these smaller festivals man like you would make people's life it'd be the story of a lifetime.
Oh yeah, totally.
And I know, like,
I
it's,
think it'd be sweet.
they probably wouldn't get obviously like a lot of money. They'd probably get as many free things as they want, I'm sure. But
Right.
I'm just like, damn it, man. Like, come on, do this for the people. Like show people like that aren't in like Hollywood and whatnot that this stuff is possible.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I actually have a friend. She's an actress that like went to some festival, and I cannot remember where. Um, and it wasn't like it wasn't like Tribeca, the first
Yeah.
top tier ones. I mean, it was like one of those small ones that it's really a local one type of thing.
Hmm.
And she went and posted pictures of like her and like I think Scorsese and his daughter were there. I'm like, what? I'm like, you have to tell me about this. Like, yeah, she wanted to go, and he like
Oh
showed
my
up.
God.
He showed up for like 20 minutes and left, but then she hung out like Scorsese's daughter. I'm like,
Still.
like still, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And
Scorsese is like arguably like
like
the top.
yeah, it's
Like
one
it's
of
like the Mount. It's the Mount Rushmore.
yeah,
Like
yeah,
he's in there.
totally, totally up there.
Yeah.
And she's like, yeah, like I hung out with her all night and partied. I'm like, jaw drop, hyperventilating over here.
I'm trying. Yeah. Have you ever had like that starstruck moment, or you ever like met somebody like really famous ever before?
Yeah. So last time I was in LA, I was finishing my master's. And I was there for oh gosh, 2 or 3 weeks. And we had like a ton of conferences and meetings and we met like one of the NBC executives, which was really cool. He was actually like one of the executive producers of The Good Place,
Oh, okay.
which was
Yeah.
really cool.
That's the Kristen Bell like Ted Danson
Yeah,
show, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but then after we met with him, and like we had been to other places, like I remember, um, we went out to dinner, us grad school kids, and we had this like really cool pizza place, and we were meeting with he was the editor of he like edited a ton of movies, but at the time he was showing us how he edited and colored the Pikachu movie, which was pretty cool. But
Oh,
when we
wow.
went to go have dinner, um about I don't know, maybe 10, 15 feet away from me at another table, the actress, let me remember her name. Carrie Russell was right there, just
Sure.
chilling.
Yeah.
and she was there with a friend and her daughter, and the daughter was like kind of sitting next to me like a toddler and had
Yeah.
screamed, and it kind of made me jump because I didn't expect it. And I turned just to like I was like,
Yeah.
what in the world? And the lady was like, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm like, oh, no, no, it's okay, it's okay. And I look over and there she is. I'm like,
Yeah.
that's cool. But then after we met with that executive on the NBC lot, um, he's like, well, you're on the lot, so just hang out, get yourself some lunch. If they ask who you're with, just say you're with me. That'll get you anywhere. And he basically said, he's like, the only rule is if there's a sound stage and it's not open, just don't go inside. It's like, okay, cool, because they're filming.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
don't quite have that clearance, and he's like, all right. And I remember I had turned, I'm like walking on the sidewalk with my fellow grad students, and I had turned the corner, and someone was walking on the same sidewalk, turning the corner as well, and it was one of those like almost bumped into the person,
Mm.
like you're just walking in a hallway type of thing. Is like, oh, I'm so sorry, and it was America Ferrera.
Oh, wow. That's
And
awesome.
and she, super kind. She's like, oh, no, no, it's okay, no worries. You guys on the lot? It's like, yeah. It's like, all right, we gotta go. And they had like a food truck on the lot, and she was going there with her assistant and her manager. And we're just like, is that America Ferrera? It's like, yeah. I'm like, huh, that's pretty cool. So yeah, I've ran into America Ferrera. And then when I lived in LA, I drove right next to um the guy. Let me find his name. Ty Burrell, who plays Phil Dunphy in Modern Family. That was pretty cool.
Interesting.
But yeah, America Ferrera was probably one of the biggest celebs that I like ran into, and it was like I mean, I had to do a double take. I'm like, nah, oh yeah, that's America Ferrera. That's pretty cool. All right, be cool, man. Don't be awkward.
I
And
don't
she
know
was
what
super kind. She was like, oh,
yeah.
cool, yeah.
But it's like I can't say like I've met like mega famous people. I've had a couple of bump-ins with some, but there is just something about it. Like when you meet a celebrity, even if it's just for like an instance, like there is like a moment where you're just like, are you like human? Like it's like
Oh yeah.
I'm so used to seeing you on a screen and like in
Uh-huh.
sometimes fantastical settings that it's just like, oh wow, like this is like so bizarre. Like I'm just seeing you in a setting like this. But you just have to remember they're people.
Oh
That's
yeah.
just.
Totally.
I
Totally.
think I think probably like the neatest one I had in recent memory, and then promise we'll finally wind this down.
Oh, you're good.
Um,
You're good.
uh, it was one of the coolest things in recent memory. The primary cast of Napoleon Dynamite was doing a screening and Q&A at the Paramount Theater in Cedar Rapids, and they did like a VIP event. And I got to meet John Heater and then Efren Ramirez and then the guy that plays Uncle Rico, John Grise, I think
Johnny
is his
Grice.
name. Yeah, and it was I did a podcast about it earlier on, like when the incident happened. But I always tell the story when I met John Heater because they were all super cool. Like it wasn't like an overly expensive VIP. I mean, like it was affordable. They gave autographs. Like I have like the poster of it framed up back here. Um, but what was special about it for me was that movie Napoleon Dynamite, I absolutely despised it when it came out.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Oh,
because
that's funny.
because it came out and then I want to say it was like, I don't know, maybe like a few months after it started like getting popular. Like that's kind of like when high school was like beginning for
Yeah.
me.
Yeah.
And I was a very different person in high school. Like
Oh, sure.
I was mega awkward, just like shy as shit. Like doing this type of thing would horrify me back then.
Right.
Like
Right.
all the stuff. But I would get teased mercilessly for the Napoleon Dynamite movie because people would say I was like the main guy because like I had like
Oh,
this
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
monotone voice and was kind of dorky and awkward and not confident in myself and all this stuff. So it's like I kind of like grew to resent this movie. I'm just like, this movie, like, no, I hate this movie. I got made fun of
Right.
because of this movie. And
Right.
then it's like years later, I appreciate the comedy. I appreciate the filmmaking. It's just a really fun, wholesome comedy. And then to meet the guy, I told him, I'm like, I just want to let you know, it's like this movie was like the worst for me. Like I got made fun of like nonstop for this thing, but just letting you know, like, like I appreciate this. Appreciate you coming here to Cedar
Right.
Rapids because we don't get a ton of stuff like that. Not
Right.
really, not here in Iowa. And it was a nice full circle moment to like, start with something that I had a completely different opinion on. And then, it only took like 20 years. And then now
Right.
I have a much different opinion of it.
Right.
And he was super cool about it. Like he kind of said what you said, just like, oh yeah, like high school sucks. Like,
Right.
don't
Yeah.
worry about it, man.
Definitely.
Like it's cool.
No, it's gosh, I can't believe I forgot. I actually met those three too.
It did it?
Completely forgot about it, and I forget about it because it literally met them like the week that the world was shutting down during
Oh,
COVID.
oh shit.
Uh, I met them at DMAC for like an event, and like they were super cool, super chill.
Yeah.
Reese was like, I had like the same boots as him. He's like, dude, nice boots. And then like John Heater's like talking about his boots. Is like, I got cool boots, man. Like, and then a friend, like as soon as I walked up, he and I started talking Spanish to each other. I was like, hell yeah, connecting on a cultural standpoint. So yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, those guys are really cool. So
Yeah, I just like that they're very, very cool. Very, very down to earth. Nice.
yeah,
I even like it too, that because I know not every actor will do this, because some actors, they're so known for a certain role, which certainly John Heater, you would argue, is
yeah,
known very, very much so for that. And sometimes like if you ask like, hey, can you say that line, or like can you like do that thing, sometimes they get, some
yeah,
of them
they
get
kind of get a
pissed,
little
like they're
weird.
just like,
Yeah,
I don't really want you to do that. No, he was cool about that. Like he'd be
no,
like, "You want me to do the face? Like you want me to do the thing? Like well, I'll do it. It's fine."
that's so cool.
But
We
dude, this was a pleasure talking with you for this long. I wasn't sure exactly how long this was gonna go, but
yeah,
I
no,
mean, actually, I have a really bad habit of doing this. I'm terrible at this. I do have one final question. I swear to God, it's the last one. Okay, you ready?
all right, let's hear it.
It's a very simple one.
All right.
Why should I come to the Iowa Independent Film Festival?
Why should you come to the Iowa Independent Film Festival?
Yeah, why should somebody come?
Because we're awesome, and I really want people to show up. Uh,
Please come.
yeah, please come if you can't tell I'm a little stressed. No, we take really good care of our filmmakers. Like I said, most of us are involved in the film industry in some capacity.
Hmm.
So we've been to lots of film festivals, we've been to lots of events like this. Um, and a lot of filmmakers say after the fact that, hey, I want to come back because you guys took really good care of me. And more importantly, you took really good care of my work. Um, and that's something as a filmmaker myself, when I submit to a film festival, I want to make sure that they're going to respect my work and show it in a good, respectful manner.
Hmm.
And we take that very, very seriously at our festival. Is if you're a filmmaker and you come, we're going to take care of you. We're going to make sure that you feel included and that you feel seen. Um,
Yeah.
whether it's your work or you as a person, you know, um, the film industry as a whole has really struggled to make sure that everyone is seen. I would say, whether it's
How so?
like I think about myself. I'm I'm my parents are Mexican immigrants, are both from Mexico.
Right.
There's not many films out there that are about people like me, there's not a lot of, and if there is, it's a lot of stereotypes, but we want to make
Sure.
sure that we're a venue that you will be seen and your work will be seen and appreciated. Um, our doors are open to everybody. And that's not just to our filmmakers, that's to our audience, you know. And we take that very, very seriously, is that we want to take care of the people that come and join us, whether they are a filmmaker or a community member, an audience member. We want to make sure that you have a good time and have a good experience, and that you'll come back, whether it's the following year or 5 years, because you're from England, so every year is a little hard to come by, but we're going to take care of you.
I love meeting people with accents. I just gotta throw that out there.
Oh yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I know it's like silly, but it's like I almost I get like a kid almost when
right,
if I meet like a real like Australian or something, I'm just like, wow,
right,
like cool man. Like I just like I want to talk to you. Like tell me some of your sayings. Like how do you say stuff? Like I
right.
love it. I love
Take
it.
Crikey, yeah,
No, I
But
just I love just where people come from, different stuff. I mean my wife, she's an immigrant as well. She's
yeah.
from Brazil.
Oh, okay.
She immigrated here in February of last year, and it's a long story of how we met and whatnot. But
Sure.
I always throw that out there anytime people get to know us and stuff, is that I'm so blessed and fortunate to be able to have like this completely different cultural side of
Yeah.
family that is so separate from my typical, white
Right.
Iowa based family and stuff. Like it's cool. I kind of get the best of both worlds, and you realize also pretty damn quick that America is not the center of the universe.
Oh yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Sometimes people I think need a wake up call on that sometimes, like especially if you've never been abroad or you haven't really met people with different backgrounds. It's
Right. Hey, it's not just us out here.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
like we have a big planet and there's a lot of fascinating stories that are here and taking
Yeah.
part in it. And like I love that you said that, man. That's cool.
Yeah. I mean that's we take that very seriously. We want to make sure that when you come to our festival that you feel welcome.
Yeah.
Um, and we take a lot of pride in that. We take our judging incredibly seriously to make sure that what we're showing is not only the absolute best, but is a variety of things that everyone can. There's something for everyone here, is
Yep.
what I would say. There is something for everyone at our festival. Not that other festivals don't have that, you know, um,
Sure.
but that is a big thing that we push in the back of our mind is we want to be a very safe space
Sure.
for the arts.
Well, you got my vote. I think you got my listeners' votes. And I would also say as well, again, I'm just very excited for the opportunity to come on site. I can't wait to talk with all the various different filmmakers, attendees, maybe even some of your guys' board or the staff or whoever ends
Yeah,
up being there. I'm really just excited to sink my teeth into it. And I just love bringing to the spotlight the different types of films and stuff that, again, is all happening in Iowa. It's happening here. Okay.
right. Of all
It's
places, it's Iowa,
Yes.
and it's awesome.
So recap here quick. So September 7th, 8th, and 9th, Mason City and Clear Lake, Iowa Independent Film Festival. Charlie, he is the president of it. He wants you to come. The whole board wants you to come. In fact, the entire Mason City Clear Lake community would probably love it to have you come out to this thing. Tickets, $30 full weekend, $20 day pass, 15% off promo code. It'll be in the description of this episode, or you can rewind this to when Charlie had spelled it out. It doesn't matter. I don't care how you get it. But there's a deal. It'll be to the end of August. And let's see, 61 films, probably pretty awesome films. And let's see, am I missing something?
No, I don't think so. Come out, have a good time.
Yes.
Like what I like to say is come and see. Come and see.
I like that one. It's kind of leaves a little bit of like mystique about it too. Like, come and see for yourself.
Yeah, see for yourself. Come and see. We've worked very hard, like we do every year. We're
You
very
might have to
excited.
put that on the merch.
Ooh, that's gonna be the shirt. Come and see. I'm gonna put
you,
that inside
you could do something with
our
that.
logo.
You
Yeah,
could do
come and
something with
see.
that. I don't know. I don't know. I mean, like everybody needs a good slogan sometimes, so I get it.
Oh, come and see. I like that one. Yeah, we're gonna do that. It's gonna be on
Okay.
the
Well,
shirt.
here I'm gonna stop the recording here, but it was a pleasure speaking with you here, and I'll still hang out with you here for a few minutes afterwards. So
Yeah,
hang
thanks
on
for
here with
having
me
me.
anytime, man. I'm excited.